Hello! We're Lemon Knife. I'm
Yes,
Mia.
I'm John.
And I'm going first with our top 10 covers. Yes, we have the same handwriting written up from last time.
Yes.
Because we're very, very productive, inventive
Frugal.
people. Yes.
Frugal.
That's dry erase marker. Only the
We're
finest.
very frugal, Mia.
Anyway, number 10, if I feel like if I didn't include this on the list, someone would shoot me. Me and Bobby McGee, originally by Chris Christopherson.
Oh, yeah.
Redone by Janis Joplin, and very much made her own. You know,
Yeah,
once again, you think of that song, and it's just like, that's a Janis Joplin song. Chris who? You know, but you know who Chris Christopherson is. He's like, you know, one of the Highwaymen,
Yeah.
right? So he's, you know, a big artist himself, but like the fact that she made it very much her own. Like the entire ending was just hers, you know, like she just
that is
carried
just
it on.
fantastic structure.
Like,
yeah.
you know, fantastic vocal performance,
Johnny
very
Cash
soulful.
also covers that one, but he really just does
Oh.
it the same as the original.
I haven't heard that one. I'll have to listen. You might see Johnny Cash again later.
All right, my number 10. This is a very stereotypical one, but just one of the all-time great punk covers. And this is the Clash's version of "I Fought the Law"
Oh, that's
by the Bobby
that's a
Fuller
good one.
4 or 5. I don't know.
One of the two.
I don't care. They just give it so much more like energy and drive and like British punk attitude.
Yeah, like once again, like the original's fine, but like they, you know.
And it's interesting how
15
far
again.
things have come where now like you listen to that version and it basically is just like, yeah, this is classic rock or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas at the time it was like, wow, this is like
Whoa.
so much like different than the original
So
of the
heavy,
song.
man. Yeah. Yeah, my favorite cover, Heavy by, no, it's not a cover.
What?
It's not a cover. We already went over this. The Letter is my number 9. Box Tops, Cocker Spaniel, Joe Cocker Spaniel. He's actually a small dog, and he's there's an image for you. A small dog giving off that vocal performance. Oh, baby, wrote me a French boy wrong.
All right, my number 9 I think is the only one on my whole list where I like the original better, but the cover just does something so different with it. And this is Frank Turner covering "The District Sleeps Alone Tonight"
Oh, yeah.
by the Postal Service. He kind of turns it from this like slightly faster, like kind of song with a lot of synths and a lot of different things to just a straight acoustic ballad, which is normally
Certainly.
my least favorite
Kind of
style of
cover.
cover. But it's a song whose like lyrics and mood really lend themselves well to that. And
So
his
that
kind of
makes sense.
voice lends itself well to like the way it builds up near the end.
And so there you kind of have the focal point on like the writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Sometimes it deserves that for sure. Okay, my next couple of covers are kind of 2 covers in one on both entries, and I'm going to call it the Cover Evolution segment, which lasts a whole 2 entries. So, because both covers are very much worth mentioning, and then there's one I favor more than the other, but that's kind of like, you have to evolve to get to that last cover. So, okay, Feeling Good. The final cover I'm mentioning is Muse, but in between you have Nina Simone, without whom I don't think anyone else would have heard this song.
Oh, it isn't originally by her?
No, it is originally by The Roar of the Grease Paint, The Smell of the Crowd, which is a musical, which no one remembers.
I knew this was going to be on your list in the Muse
You figured,
version.
yeah. But Nina Simone made it able to be covered, and then Muse just covered it best out of the like zillions of covers that exist. So there are so many damn covers of this song, John. You don't understand. I guess I'll give George Michael a shout out for his cover. He did a real good cover too. Some other ones, I feel like everyone else just covers it the same way, of just like, you know, extreme like
Straight
Mariah
piano,
Mariah Carey style, like soulless but technically proficient. And so, you know, Muse's vocal are kind of the opposite of that, you know, very, very emotional and not exactly technically perfect.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right, my number 8 is the only one where it's kind of a traditional song. This is the Dropkick Murphys' "Johnny I Hardly Knew Ye," which they kind of keep some of the kind of traditional Irish instrumentation of like the original song about a soldier going to war and losing his limbs, but then it enters in and it's like just a pure like punk version of that original riff, and it's fantastic.
And once again, I feel like it wouldn't have been heard that often if not for Dropkicks.
Yeah.
It's really good. And of course, you know, an Irish number. I've got to give credit to an Irish number. I can't
You got to
brogue.
give credit to an Irish number.
I tried to brogue and it turns into a very offensive...
Indian accent,
sorry. Okay, and here's the other one in that series where you're getting
Where you're getting
You're getting I like all three versions. I like the original and final cover about equally, but in between you have the evolution once again. So Ring of Fire, originally by Johnny Cash, of course, made entirely different. First by Delana, who's this obscure person from Rockstar Supernova, but kind of started this trend, and finally by Adam Lambert, who heard her version and subsequently took that and made his version out of it.
Oh, when you said three versions, I was sure one of them was going to be Social Distortions.
No, I mean, I like their version too, but like I think just in terms of making the song entirely different, changing keys and everything. This was really, and they made it kind of, Adam Lambert, of course, being like one of the best vocalists alive right now.
Star of Maroon 5.
I'll show myself out. All right, but yeah, really good. Good stuff. And yeah, I think Adam Lambert deserves more credit for arrangements than he gets most of the time. He's a great arranger. He doesn't really write that often, but interpretation.
Great flower arranger.
Oh yeah, great flower arranger. I might be a good flower arranger. Can we carry forth?
Yes. All right, my number 7 from the California Canadian to the Welsh brogue. This is Revolution Blues, originally by Neil Young, covered by the Waco Brothers, who, again, they take kind of, the song is always like an aggressive song, lyrically and like thematically, but they turn it aggressive musically, like kind of just making this punk number with John Langford's like harsh Welsh vocals. I want to attack ya, but I won't back ya.
Oh yeah, it's really brings that out once again for sure. All right. And now we're past that confusing evolution segment. We're just going straight to Renegades of Funk, made vastly better by Rage Against the Machine. No matter how hard you try, you can't stop us now.
Yeah, a lot more force on that one.
There's so much more force. And once again, I feel like they may as well be different songs, even if, technically they're similar enough. But, they make it so much dang better, in my opinion. Just, really rockify it. It's great stuff all the way around, so... I feel like I'm using those words a lot. Great stuff!
Rockify. Force. We've used the word force a lot.
Lots of fun!
Which talks about what we like in covers, I guess.
It's great fun, yeah. Did I say that enough?
Mm-hmm. All right, my number 6 is a cover that takes a Bruce Springsteen song and turns it into more of a Bruce Springsteen song. And this is the Hold Steady covering Atlantic City.
Everything
this is one of the kind of acoustic numbers off of Nebraska, and they do almost like an E Street Band kind of version of it, where it's got a piano and then like a saxophone comes in for like the main riff, and Craig Finn does his inimitable vocal style of it.
Everything dies.
That's a fact.
Maybe everything that dies someday comes back. Which always kind of jars me because it's like completely a cappella and that happens.
Yes.
It's a great cover as a whole. That's actually a really good point about it. They do kind of make it more of a classic Bruce sound, don't they? Fucking Nebraska. Okay, number 5. I mentioned this a lot, but it is I Know I'm Losing You, originally by the Temptations, redone by the Faces. Anyway, once again, the original is okay. I'd probably I don't know, it's on an oldies station. Okay, this is fine. And they just kind of bring it to this great rock jam and just completely overhaul it. And it's just this is the song as it, really should be. Which I kind of feel like is always kind of the case with the covers I like. It's okay, this is the song. Here's the song, you're listening to the song.
Speaking of the song how it should be, this is Mad World, Gary Jules'
Perfect
sad
example.
Piano version, which fits so much better with
than whatever that Tears for Fears thing
Tears
is.
for Fears thing, and goes so well in Donnie Darko, makes me tear up, and yeah,
we all get to be sad. We ended up sad. We ended up sad. We ended up really, really, really sad.
What's your number? 4.
Mr. Me. Same thing!
Yeah.
So, what we just discussed, we can just move on now.
My number 4 is Ghost Riders in the Sky. originally by Johnny Cash or possibly some other 50s era country artist.
Possibly some.
But the Outlaws turned it into kind of a southern rock jam. They speed it up a little. They had a lot of solos. They actually doubled the length of it despite it being at a faster tempo. And they kind of turned into more of like an epic, like they're like Green Grass and High Tides. Like the verses and choruses are still there, but then it kind of builds this big ending and long solo jam.
Great version, absolutely. All right. My number 3 is Gallows Pole by the old Zeppers. Zepper,
the
not
old
the Zeppers.
Zeppers.
Fly away on my Zepper. It was originally a Leadbelly song. Who was this, very much anciently recorded person, and they must have picked it up somehow because they took it and they made it, very modern by that standard. It was on Zeppelin 3, which is almost my favorite Zeppelin album, but not quite. And it's, great vocal performance, just great build up through the whole thing. Just every verse adds something new.
Is great.
Yeah, the drums kicking, that's like my favorite thing. And at the end, there's like, the taunting hangman. I just love it, I just think everything is just so perfectly represented. Great stuff by the Zeppers.
All right, my 3 is a 3-way tie.
Ooh.
This is 3 of Rage Against the Machine's covers on their cover album. So the 3 I picked as the particularly great ones, there's Maggie's Farm, which turns Bob Dylan's like protest acoustic ballad into a protest explosion. Then there's Renegades of Funk, similar to Mia, and there's In My Eyes, which basically it takes one of kind of the only problem with a lot of like hardcore songs is like the production on them. So it just kind of it brings the same fury as that, maybe even slightly more fury, but just now it doesn't sound like it was recorded in someone's garage.
And they ended extremely appropriately by saying, "Thanks a lot, friends."
Yup. Definitely what they say.
Maybe it isn't, I don't know.
And that one we've covered, and really ended up with us it kind of ended up as a cover of a cover, because we were really basing ours on the Rage version.
But that's really the only one you can actually make out the instruments in, so, Okay, and my number 2 is Young Man Blues, originally by Mose Allison, who kind of made this, very quiet but kind of sarcastic song about, young man, I got him all these days. And he's already like fairly old when he records this. And that's the point. He's kind of joking around. But of course, when he started off, he was as very famously noted, a mere teenager. A jazz sage is a mere teenager.
That kind of chicken.
Exactly. So, this is the Live at Leeds, and I've done it several other times, but, they just really power it up. And they also make it like 3 minutes longer because the original song is just like a minute long or something.
And now it's like a total jam.
Now it's an actual jam out, like full length song, and they just make it theirs. It's theirs now, All
right, my number 2 is Take Me to the River, Talking Heads covering Al Green. And really both versions, because it's almost like a full transformation. First, they turn into this weird kind of like... this weird kind of like thing, and then for the Stop Making Sense version, they add like all the funk back into it while keeping like kind of the manic energy. So I like that a lot.
Better,
Maybe I'm just not a soul person, but so I like their kind of Stop Making Sense funky version better than the original.
Yeah, no, that's certainly fair. I like both the original and the Stop Making Sense version. I don't really bother with the studio version because it's a lot less lively. And number 1, we've been going through some ones where, people make it fun, and people make it energetic, and people make it exciting, and it's all very happy. And then we get to be Hurt? And then we get to number 1, and it's Hurt by Johnny Cash, originally by 9 Inch Nails. Which is probably the most depressing one on this list, if not, maybe Mad World, actually, I'm not sure. But, we take it from angsty Trent Reznor, which is like a fine version or whatever. It's a good song. It's a well-written song, obviously. Otherwise, Johnny Cash, wouldn't be able to make it his own, really. To, someone in his old age facing the end of his life, saying the same things, not just about teen angst, but, just
kind of giving more religious meaning to it.
It's a really, really always, I just, have to hold back, like sobbing, at the end of that. And then I think even Trent Reznor admitted, like, this isn't my song. It just isn't my song anymore, because it isn't. It just isn't. So, I mean, it's just way to crush someone's heart.
Yes.
Thank you, Johnny Cash, for everything.
My number one is a song whose cover was done 50 years after the original. And it's also the standard Crazy Arm entry on my list. But this one just fits so well. This is Song of Choice, which it's originally a folk ballad from the 50s by Peggy Seeger. Mm-hmm. And then they do a version of it where it starts as an acoustic guitar ballad. Gradually the guitar gets a little more like complicated, intricate, and faster. But then right at the end of it, they kind of
they totally update it.
Yeah, they keep her lyrics for like 90% of it. Everything the original song does, they do. But then right before the end, they kind of like mention specific like it's about like watching out for the rise of fascism and such. Very prescient, coming out 10 years ago or something. And then they end with like suddenly these blasts of electric guitar after like an all acoustic thing, and like it's calling out specific like British neo-Nazi politicians and like adding some kind of like some intensity to the end there before going back into kind of like an ending thing of like.
It's absolutely brilliant, yeah. It's kind of depressing how nothing's really changed since then, right? Or very little has ultimately changed.
That's what changed a lot. The fascists have way more power than they did then. Did you want it to change in a good way?
Yeah, I wanted it to change in a good way, John. And that's how we're going to end this video on such a completely hopeless message. Goodbye, everybody. Don't shoot yourselves.
Sleep well.